Welcome, everybody. Turn the jazz off here. All right. One of the things I wanted to chat about today is earlier I posted a little post on getting back to traditional blogging and wondering if that just may be a good thing to do for us creatives. I have reasons for it, and some of those reasons are sometimes very evident. Sometimes you got to dig for them a little bit. I got an email newsletter from Austin Kleon today, and he mentioned an article that I went and read about how Facebook is really making it hard for comedy content builders. You don't have to read it. You don't have to read it real slow to understand it's all content builders. What happened was Facebook created this platform, and the platform is, open to anybody who signs up to Facebook. So when you sign up, there's terms of services. It says they're going to be able to extract your data. And holy shit, do they ever extract your data. Facebook is a data extracting company that then sells that data to advertisers to advertise to you on your stream. I'm not against business, total capitalist, got it. They got to make money, no problem. Okay, but that's their business. So they built this sort of platform and said, why don't you put your content on our platform and we'll get more people for you. So great. So companies started creating stuff. We got BuzzFeed. We got I Fucking Hate Science, I Love Science, and all these places that create this content. Now, as they're creating the content, they're letting their other platforms sort of fade. I saw that with photographers. I see that with photographers because when I go to my reader now, my news reader, there's only maybe 3 or 4 blogs still live. All the other photographers have quit their blogs. They've moved to, quote, more social media, Instagram and Facebook. If you didn't know, Facebook owns Instagram. Okay? So if they own Instagram, it's the same closed system. So photographers, creatives, whatever, now if you want to get your stuff seen, you have to start buying through the algorithm. The algorithm pushes you down if you're not paying. It pushes you up if you are paying. Even people with a giant, huge following find that over the past 2 years, as the algorithms have changed, their following gets smaller and smaller. Now, they'll tell you, if you want to have a great following, have great content. No, sorry, that's not enough. That will help, but the only thing that moves your content into those people's faces that ask to see it. They joined Facebook to see your content. They told you to send them content. The only way to reach them now is to pay Facebook for access. Facebook is, it really is an old concept. It's the king's fortress with the city around it. The king runs the city. The city has a wall around it. You're either a member of that city or you're not. If you come in the gates, you either become a member of that city or they kick you out. They boil you in oil and set you on fire. I don't know. They had a lot of ways of dealing with them outsiders. I don't know exactly what they did, but that's Facebook. Facebook is in the walls. And so when you create content, you're only creating content for those people in the walls. And if you're good at it, you make the king richer. Now, a lot of people, especially creatives, complain about working for free. Well, I'm working for free right now. I'm doing this broadcast, live broadcast. Now, this makes Google like me. They like me a lot because I'm doing live video. So Google really likes live video. They push it and push it and push it. So I'm doing this, but Facebook is not paying me to do this. I'm doing this. Are you ready for it? For exposure. Now go and contact any of those Facebook photography gurus who post all the time and how they hate, well, exposure doesn't buy me dinner. Well, while you're posting that shit on Facebook, you're doing it for free and you're doing it for exposure because that's the only thing you can get out of it. Meanwhile, you're making Facebook more money. Facebook knows that you're watching me. Facebook knows what you're interested in. Believe me, you'll see later today, you'll see more photography ads in your feed because Facebook knows I'm a photographer. Most of my posts are about photography, on and on and on. And as I said, I have nothing wrong with that. I'm doing this for free. I'm not begrudging Facebook at all. I probably am making Mark Zuckerberg about $11 million. All right, $10 million. What the hell? Anyway, I don't care. I'm doing this because I enjoy it. But I'm also looking around and seeing people who have given up on the personal approach in an effort to get the maximum amount of numbers. And that is, understandable. If you're going to be an internet guru where people like listen to everything you say and buy all your ebooks, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, then you need maximum exposure. But really, for an artist, all you need is the exposure to people who really like you. And if the cost of entry is that they simply have to select a link, click a link to go to your individual website, if that's the price of entry and they're not willing to pay it, you don't have anybody there at all anyway. They're not a fan. They're a fan of expedience. They're the person that's waiting for somebody to show up so they can go to the movie, and they're going to stand around in your coffee shop. They're not going to buy anything, but they're in your coffee shop. You can call them a fan if you want, but we all know that's just not the way it is. They're not. They're not fans. They're just simply there for expedience. So if the cost of entry to get unique content or get information or get enjoyment is that you have to go to somewhere else, so be it. I don't know if BuzzFeed or a comedy channel or a band could exist outside of Facebook, but I know we're going to find out because I think a lot of people are leaving. I think a lot of people are starting to go back, or at least think about going back to the traditional, I own my domain. If you want to see me, come to my house. Come to my house. We're not going to just hang out in the walled city anymore. Come over to my house. I don't live in the city anymore. I live out here in the burbs, so to speak, in the creative burbs. So there's been a lot of photographers, really great photographers that I've seen and really, really enjoyed their blogs and their journals, etc., that have left that because they started going more towards the I need more mass engagement. And it is easier to do that on Facebook. But I'm not sure easy is the answer either. You just don't know anymore. The numbers needed to be seen are so much greater than they used to be. I was listening to a podcast last night with the James Altucher and the head of culture and trends at Google. And you're talking about viral videos and how not too many years ago, a video that had 1 million or 2 million views, that was considered just amazing, just outrageously amazing. Now that would be unique views, even though, I don't know if you know this, but YouTube does not attract or does not track individual users. So if you go back and watch a music video 10 times, you're counted. That's 10 viewings of it. So you kind of have to understand a little bit about the content and who goes back and sees that stuff over and over again. Obviously, music videos are skewed very high because people listen to them, a fewer number of people listen to them many, many times. So if you look at that situation where if you had 1 million people looking at your YouTube video, you really had a huge reach. Today, 1 million people looking at your YouTube video is just not that big a deal. I mean, it's still cool, but the numbers are just so much greater than that. So much greater than that. We're talking about videos with 5 billion views, 4 billion views, Despacito. And I'll tell you just a quick, short truth here about how apparently in the woods I live in the woods or the weeds or whatever, because I have never, as far as I know, heard the song Despacito until yesterday when they were talking about it. I said, well, I'll go listen to Despacito because it has something like 5 or 6 billion views. And if you take all of the satires and hangers on and what's it called? Proliferation of songs based on Despacito is something like 12 or 15 billion. You know, I'd never heard of it. I heard it yesterday. Anyway, if you take something like that, it's going to be very hard to do it. So look at Instagram now, and I know some of my Project 52 people have been working Instagram last month, really engaging. I haven't heard yet back from what the numbers are. I did it religiously for about 14 days, and then life caught up to me, and I missed a few and whatever. But working it, spending about 20 minutes, 25 minutes total a day on Instagram netted me an additional 34 followers that stayed. Followers came on and then left. And what that is they'll follow you, and then they see if you follow them back, and if they don't, they unfollow you and follow someone else. Because for many people, Instagram is this giant numbers game. It is so much harder to get big numbers on Instagram today than it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago, that it's almost like you're playing a different game. It's unbelievably hard to get big numbers on Instagram. I don't care who you are. And these days, I would say I'm not really sure that I care what your demographic is. It's just hard. The noise is incredible. YouTube has, what was it? What did they say? 700 hours, 400 hours. I think it was 400 hours of video is uploaded every single minute to YouTube. So you better make sure that you got your stuff together to make those numbers work. So as we devolve maybe a little bit from those situations where big numbers are the vital moving point of our business, we start to realize maybe I don't need 100,000 people following me. Maybe I just like to talk to 500 or 600 people. That's it. That's the people that I'm working towards, and I'm happy with. I've never had any desire to be an internet guru or an internet superstar or any of that crap. I just like doing my thing, and I like to keep it real and keep it honest. And the moment you start going for thousands and thousands of followers, you can't keep it real and you can't keep it honest, because you've got to be very careful about what you say about this and what you say about that, because you're afraid of offending that little group or that little group or that little group, because then they won't follow you anymore. You like Sony and they hate Sony and all, you be real careful with that. Or you don't, and you just go and be honest about what it is you like, and you do your thing, and people who like you, they like you, and if people who don't like you, they don't like you. That's the world. Anyway, I thought I'd just bring that up. I think it's an interesting world that we live in here, and I'm going back to the original type of blog that I did way back in, I want to say 2004. Just going to start being more real and stuff over on my site. That's not the Lighting Essentials site. That's more of an online magazine. It's just my name, DonGiannetti.com. And we're just going to have to see what happens with that. I think the times they are changing again. A lot of tech owners, big time folks in tech, don't let their kids go to schools that where tech is. In fact, many of the kids of the highest echelon of the tech owners in Silicon Valley attend a school, a little private school system that has very little tech. You know, Steve Jobs wouldn't have let his kids go on the internet. Gotta tell you something. Anyway, that's my Creative Coffee for Friday. Just stuff to think about. If you've ever had a blog, maybe it's time to get back to it. If you think that there's something to the changes happening, all of a sudden we're seeing more and more articles about how Facebook is bad for your psyche and makes you angry. And when I read that stuff, I just think to myself, what the hell are I talking? I try not to read very much of that stuff. Anyway, I think that we're all due for a change. It's coming. I'll see you next time. Take care.